Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, I'm going to be telling you guys about 20 things you need to know about the Rune Cheburek. So this is another one of the DLC cars that's going to be released in the next couple of weeks and months in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's not scheduled to come out for a bit, but this is by far one of the most interesting cars in this update. It might not look like it, but there's plenty of surprises packed in this little vehicle. So let's take a look at this car on the website. You can see here Rune Cheburek. It's actually the cheapest DLC car in this update at $145,000. You heard me right, $145,000. Some outfits cost more than this car, which is insane to think about. I think this makes this the cheapest DLC vehicle we've received since the Bikers update in late 2016, which is kind of insane. Now, there's a couple things about this vehicle that are really unique too. The first is Rune. This is a brand new vehicle manufacturer to the GTA series. We had never seen a Rune vehicle before. Just like how in 2015, Progen, which is based off McLaren, was a new manufacturer. Rune, which this vehicle is actually based off of the Lada, is a new manufacturer. So that's pretty cool. You might not have known that about this car, and you might not have known that this was based off of the Lada either. Which is kind of unique. So now that you know this about the Rune Cheburek, let's take this inside the Los Santos custom shop and let's get into building this awesome vehicle. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is there's a lot of customization. 20 customization options is quite a bit for this car, which is obviously really cool. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this vehicle on many of the customization options like bumpers, the hood, the roof, the skirts, the spoiler, there is a customization option on here that isn't on any other vehicle, and it's the first customization option for each one, and it is cardboard. This vehicle literally has cardboard customization options. So you can see there it's held on by either duct tape or scotch tape or whatever the case is. So you can have a cardboard front bumper, rear bumper. You can have cardboard hood vents. You can have cardboard roof vents. You can even have a cardboard spoiler that will still add traction to the vehicle, even though it's made from cardboard. So I think that that's absolutely hysterical, that if you want a cardboard car, you can have one in the Rune Cheburek, which I think is just incredibly hysterical. And as you'll see a little bit later on in this video, this vehicle is basically just like one big Russian meme, or like a Russian parody car. That's why you see the cardboard there. We'll get into more of the funny details of this vehicle a little bit later on, but that is absolutely hysterical in my opinion, that you could have a 100% cardboard car. Now, aside from that, there's actually a lot of like normal customization options you can do for pretty much everything listed here: bumper, roof, skirts, etc. There's a lot that you can do to this car. So don't just think it's this wacky cardboard vehicle. You can still do a lot to this car to make it very unique and very interesting. One of those things that's interesting to me is the headlights. You can either have them half covered or full covered. Now, I've seen cars that have had full covered before, but I've never seen the half covered. And unfortunately, you can't choose what side you want covered. I'm not really sure it would matter, but the passenger side headlights are the ones that end up being covered up. You can't choose the driver, you can't flip-flop them. So if you are interested in that, that's what you can do to the headlights, which is kind of unique. There's also a ton of roof options as well, including adding roof racks, small luggage. You can even do vortex generators. You can put a roof spoiler on top as well. Now, something to know about that, the roof spoiler, even though it's technically a spoiler, doesn't add traction. It has to be under the spoiler department in order to add traction. So don't think you can just add the roof spoiler, but have nothing in the actual spoiler category and still get that traction bonus. That's not the case. You've got to have something in the spoiler category to get that traction bonus. Now, I told you guys this car was pretty much just one big Russian meme or parody, and that continues in the liveries as well. You can see lots of Russian-inspired liveries like Crimson Star, Hard Base, Prolapse. In case you guys don't know what Prolapse is, that's Rockstar's parody version of Adidas, which of course is a pretty popular brand in Russia. So you've got a lot of different Russian brands in here, like Chernikov vodka. You even have Rusty Prolapse, etc. So lots of cool liveries that kind of have a Russian flair to them, which is kind of cool. Now, moving on to the respray options of this car, it's actually pretty simple. The primary color is going to handle the body of the car, basically everything but the roof. And then the secondary color is going to handle the roof, and that's it. Unless you choose like a secondary color option for like a spoiler or something like that. that's what it's going to do. And then, of course, you have trim color on the inside, which is going to affect a lot. It's going to affect the dash. It's going to affect the door panels, the seats. And there's no bugs or errors or issues with this. It just covers a lot. So if you do a really loud color in there, like pink or purple or blue for whatever reason, you're going to see that inside the car like a good bit. So just keep that in mind when customizing this vehicle. After that, we've got spoilers. Now, spoilers are kind of interesting on this car. There's some normal ones. There's some unusual ones like the sticker bomb and the cardboard one. And then there's one that we've never seen before, a rally spoiler that is by far the most interesting looking thing of all time. And this is one of the options that has a secondary option applied to it. But there's not another vehicle in this game that has a crazy spoiler like that. And what's weird is it's like the cheapest one too. Like you can see all the other ones are like $9,000, $7,000, $8,000. These are just like $350. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out when it finally gets to online. But this is definitely one of the more interesting, quirky things about this car. Now, the last thing in the LSC are the rims. So those are custom rims, which are really cool. And they're also chrome, which means they cannot be changed color-wise with the iFruit app. However, there are a lot of options that are really similar. So I found that the lowrider rims worked the best here. And there were 3 that worked really well. So the first one was Super Fin. The second one was Turbine, and the third one was Lead Sled. All of them look really similar to the stock rims, and you can make them any color you want. Alloy, black, white, purple, green, pink, whatever the case is. So don't mess around with the iFruit app. Number 1, you won't even be able to change the color. And number 2, there's a lot of options that look really, really similar to that. Now, let's move outside of the LSC. The first thing I noticed with the interior of this car that's kind of strange, that is not in any other vehicle, is a dash cam. I told you guys again, a lot of Russian mentions here. Dash cams are incredibly popular in Russia due to the insane amounts of insurance scams that actually happen there when driving on the road. So almost every car you see there is going to have a dash cam. And you probably noticed this if you've watched any videos on YouTube. So that's really cool. The dash cam doesn't show anything. It doesn't work when it's on or off. It's just a black screen. But I thought that was a very interesting and unique feature of this car. And it's, of course, just very Russian in general. Now, when I was actually opening up the hood and the trunk of this car, which, by the way, you can, I actually discovered something pretty unique. There's actually a subwoofer speaker system in the back, which is actually kind of cool. I had no idea that that sort of thing was even in there. And if I wasn't opening up the trunk and doing everything like that, I would have had no idea that this little guy was actually hanging out in the back. Now, something that's kind of weird, and I just discovered this on accident, apparently this speaker box system in the back isn't for every livery. Because if we go to Classic Stripes, it's not there. If we go to Crimson Star, it's not there. So what I found out is that this speaker system is only on 3 liveries. Hard Base, Prolapse, and Rusty Prolapse, which I'm not sure why Rockstar decided to do it that way. But I think it's pretty cool. It's a nice little touch in the back. Obviously, it has no real impact on the car itself, but I thought that that was pretty cool that there's 3 liveries that have sort of a secret Easter egg that you would have never known about unless you'd opened up your hood or your trunk outside of the Los Santos custom shop, which is really cool. Now, aside from that, the engine, pretty normal. I didn't see anything all that special there. So that's pretty awesome. There's a lot of little secrets about this vehicle that I would have never known about unless I was doing all these sort of tests that I'm, doing right now. All right, moving on. The next thing I wanted to test with this car was the headlights. The headlights are kind of strange. I'm not sure I like them. They're very bright. So the high beams and low beams are the same. They light up the exact same way. There isn't one that isn't lit with the low beams, but then is lit with the high beams. They basically just get brighter. And they're very, very bright. Let's just say that. So you're not going to have problems seeing things on the road, as the high beam lights with this vehicle are incredibly bright. They're very, very visible, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's test the top speed of this car using my Menu Trainer's in-game speedometer. I was actually able to get this car up to 108 miles per hour, which I'm not sure if that's good or bad for the sports classic class. That's another thing I thought was pretty interesting about this vehicle, is it's actually a sports classic. I thought for sure this would have been a sedan, and I almost sort of wish Rockstar had done that, because over the last couple of updates, Sports Classic, Sports, Muscle, and Super have been just getting a plethora of vehicles, whereas off-road, sedans, coupes, vehicles like that have sort of been getting left out. And I feel like this vehicle would have been the perfect opportunity for Rockstar to add, a vehicle to the sedan class, but I guess they just really wanted it to be, in the sports classic. I'm not really sure why. I highly doubt this vehicle is going to be competitive with the other top tier sports classic cars when it does arrive in GT Online. But at the end of the day, it's still a massively fun vehicle. And that's been my overall experience so far, that I've just been having so much fun with this little car. Now, some things I wish this car had. Strangely enough, this does not have an exhaust upgrade option. I thought for sure with all the wacky customization options on this vehicle, Rockstar would include some funky exhaust options, or at least some different ones that we could modify, but nope, that's not the case. This car seems to have everything else but an exhaust option, which I thought was a little bit weird. And then I would have loved to see more interior options. I mean, this car has so many cool quirks already. I mean, a dash cam on the inside. It would have been nice to have been able to change some stuff in there. And I would have also liked to see more like Russian references. I mean, there's a lot on there, so it's kind of hard to ask for more. But I really would have loved to see Rockstar go all out on something like that. But overall, I really like this vehicle. I think it's going to be a ton of fun when they add it into the game. It's the Rune Cheburek in GT Online. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more on this vehicle in the comments down below. Are you going to be buying this vehicle when it comes out, or do you think it's ridiculous and you're just going to be skipping it? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.